The DNA test I bought as a joke said my dad wasn't my biological father. But when I confronted my mom, she started laughing and said, "Honey, that's not even the worst part of what we've been hiding." Let me take you back to how this all started. It was Black Friday, and those Ancestry DNA kits were on sale for like $20. My husband Jake thought it would be hilarious to map out our family trees as a Christmas project. "Come on, Sarah," he said, "maybe you'll find out you're descended from royalty or something." I rolled my eyes but ordered 2 kits anyway. We were that couple everyone envied. 15 years married, 2 beautiful kids, the house with the white picket fence in suburbia. Jake coached our son's little league team, I ran the PTA bake sales. We had family game nights every Friday and took those cheesy matching Christmas card photos. My parents lived just 20 minutes away and came over every Sunday for dinner. Dad would always bring his famous apple pie, and Mom would help me with the dishes while sharing neighborhood gossip. Normal. Perfect. Boring, even. The first weird thing happened when the DNA results came back in January. I was expecting maybe some Irish or German heritage. Dad always talked about his grandfather from County Cork. But the results showed 0 Irish DNA. Weird, but maybe family stories get twisted over time, right? Then I noticed I had genetic matches with people I'd never heard of. Dozens of them. And none of them shared DNA with matches that looked like they should be from Dad's side. Something felt wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I started comparing my results to other family members who'd done DNA tests. My cousin Lisa from Dad's side of the family, we should have been closely related. But the test showed we weren't related at all. My hands were shaking as I called the DNA company. "There must be a mistake," I told the customer service rep. She was patient but firm. "Ma'am, our tests are 99.9% accurate. Have you considered that there might be undisclosed adoption or other family circumstances?" Undisclosed adoption. The words hit me like a truck. I drove straight to my parents' house, clutching the printed results. Mom was in her garden, and Dad was watching golf in his recliner. This cozy scene I'd witnessed thousands of times suddenly felt like a movie set. "Mom, we need to talk." I showed her the papers. She glanced at them, then at Dad, then back at me. And then she started laughing. Not a nervous giggle, full, deep belly laughs that made her eyes water. "Honey," she said, wiping her eyes, "that's not even the worst part of what we've been hiding." Dad muted the TV and turned around slowly. The look on his face. I'd never seen him look scared before. "Tell her, Richard," Mom said, still chuckling. "She's going to find out anyway now." My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Dad stood up and walked to the old secretary desk in the corner. He pulled out a manila folder I'd seen him put things in over the years but never thought to ask about. "Sarah, sit down." "I don't want to sit down. I want answers." He opened the folder and handed me a birth certificate. Not mine, but it had my name on it. Only it listed my birthday as 3 months earlier than I'd always celebrated, and it was from a hospital 2 states away. "You were born in Ohio," Dad said quietly. "Not here." Mom sat down next to me. "Honey, your biological father, he wasn't just some random guy I had an affair with. He was my first husband." The room started spinning. "You're what?" "I was married before your dad. His name was David Chin. We had you when I was 19, but David, he had problems. Gambling, drinking, and eventually." She paused. "Eventually, he got involved with some very dangerous people. Dad took over. When Sarah was 6 months old, David stole money from the wrong people. A lot of money. Your mom came to me, we'd been friends since high school, and I helped them disappear. We legally changed your birthday, got new social security numbers, moved across the country," Mom continued. "I divorced David and married your dad, well, Richard, and he adopted you officially. We've been living under assumed identities for 30 years. I felt like I was in a witness protection movie. This couldn't be real. Where's David now?" I whispered. Mom and Dad exchanged another look. That's the thing, sweetheart, Mom said softly. We don't know. He disappeared right after we left. The people he stole from, we think they found him first. I stared at them. These people who'd raised me, loved me, tucked me in every night, were complete strangers. Everything I knew about my life was a lie. But then something else hit me. Wait. If you changed our identities, what are your real names? I'm actually Margaret Kowalski, Mom said. Your dad is Richard Santos. We've been Mary and Robert Murphy for 30 years. The DNA results suddenly made perfect sense. I wasn't Irish at all, I was half Chinese and half Polish. My entire genetic identity had been erased and replaced with a fairy tale. I spent the next week in complete shock. I couldn't look at Jake, couldn't focus on my kids, couldn't even process basic conversations. My entire foundation had crumbled. But then I got angry. Furious. They'd stolen my identity, my heritage, my right to know where I came from. What about David's family? Did they think I was dead? Did I have grandparents, aunts, uncles who'd been grieving a granddaughter who was actually alive? I hired a private investigator. And that's when everything got even more insane. The PI called me 2 weeks later. Sarah, I found David Chen's family. But you need to prepare yourself. Your biological father, he's not dead. He was alive. Living in California under his own assumed name. He'd been looking for me for 30 years. But here's the kicker, he'd gotten clean, built a successful business, and had been putting money in a trust fund for me every single month since I disappeared. There was over $400,000 waiting for me. The people he'd supposedly stolen from? They'd been arrested for money laundering 6 months after we fled. He could have come home safely, but he never knew where we'd gone. I'm writing this 6 months later. I've met David, my biological father, and his family. I have 2 half-sisters and grandparents who cried for an hour when they met me. My parents, Richard and Margaret, are facing charges for identity fraud and kidnapping. Yes, even though they were trying to protect me, what they did was illegal. But the strangest part? I don't hate them. They gave me a beautiful childhood, even if it was built on lies. Sometimes love makes people do desperate things. Jake has been incredible through all of this. The kids are adjusting to having a whole new side of the family. And I'm slowly learning who I really am, Sarah Chen Murphy, a bridge between 2 families who love me. That $20 DNA test didn't just change my family tree. It gave me back my real identity and connected me to family I never knew existed. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.